Every war in the next 50 years won't be fought with bullets alone. It'll be fought with chips. It's tiny, invisible silicon chips that power your phone, your car, your fighter jet, your AI system, everything. Right now, one country is making the most important industrial bet of the 21st century. That country is India. And what just happened in Uttar Pradesh might be the single most important economic story of this decade, and almost nobody is talking about it the right way. Welcome back. Today we're breaking down India's semiconductor revolution, what it actually means. It matters far beyond one factory, and whether India can genuinely compete in the most strategically important industry on the planet. Because this isn't just a business story. This is a story about power. About who controls the technology that runs the modern world. And about whether India will be a consumer of that technology or a creator of it. Let's get into it. Prime Minister Modi recently laid the foundation stone for a major new semiconductor facility in Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh. The project is a joint venture between two giants, Taiwan's Foxconn, the world's largest electronics manufacturer, and India's own HCL Group. Together, they've formed a new entity called India Chip Private Limited. The facility will be what's called an OSAT plant, outsourced semiconductor assembly and test. Think of it as the finishing line of chip manufacturing, where raw wafers get assembled, packaged, and tested before going into your devices. The numbers are significant. The plant will process up to 20,000 wafers every single month. It will focus specifically on display driver chips, the components that tell your screen what to show, how bright to be, and how to respond to your touch. Total investment sits at around 3,700 crore rupees, and it's expected to create over 3,500 direct and indirect jobs when it becomes operational in 2028. But here's the thing. To understand why this matters, you first need to understand why semiconductors aren't just another industry. In the 20th century, nations went to war over oil. They built alliances around oil. They designed their entire foreign policy around controlling oil supply chains. In the 21st century, semiconductors are the new oil. Every smartphone needs chips. Every electric vehicle needs chips. Every data center running artificial intelligence needs chips. Every modern missile guidance system, every satellite, every hospital monitoring device, all of it runs on semiconductors. And here's the problem for India specifically. Right now, India imports almost all of its chips. Every display driver in every Indian smartphone, every television, every laptop imported. India has virtually zero domestic chip manufacturing capability at industrial scale. It's not just an economic vulnerability, that's a national security vulnerability. Think about what happened during COVID. Global chip shortages shut down car manufacturing plants across the world. Companies lost billions waiting for chips they couldn't source. Countries that didn't control their chip supply chains were completely helpless. Now imagine that happening not during a pandemic, but during a geopolitical conflict. Imagine your defense systems, your communication networks, your financial infrastructure all dependent on chips sourced from a region that's suddenly inaccessible. That's the reality India has been living with. And that's exactly what this push is designed to change. The Foxconn HCL plant in Uttar Pradesh isn't a standalone project. It's one piece of a much larger strategic puzzle. In 2021, the Indian government launched the India Semiconductor Mission with an incentive package of 76,000 crore rupees. The goal was simple but enormously ambitious. Build a complete domestic semiconductor ecosystem from the ground up. So far, 10 major semiconductor projects have been approved across 6 different Indian states, representing combined investments of approximately 1.6 lakh crore rupees. The projects span the entire country. Tata Electronics has partnered with Taiwan's PSMC to build a full fabrication plant in Dulera, Gujarat, one of the most advanced semiconductor manufacturing facilities anywhere in Asia when complete. Micron Technology from the United States is building a large assembly and test facility. Additional projects are coming up in Assam, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, and Punjab. 4 of these approved facilities are expected to begin production in the near term. And global partners involved aren't minor players: Foxconn, Tata, Micron, PSMC. These are among the most respected names in global semiconductor manufacturing. Their willingness to commit billions to India sends a message to the entire industry. India is a serious destination now. Now, let's be honest, because this channel doesn't just celebrate headlines, we analyze them. Building a semiconductor industry from near zero is genuinely one of the hardest industrial challenges any nation can attempt. Here's why. Chip manufacturing requires an ecosystem, not just a factory. You need specialized chemicals, ultra-pure water systems, precision equipment, and a highly trained technical workforce. You need suppliers, logistics networks, and regulatory frameworks that most countries have spent decades building. Taiwan didn't become the global chip manufacturing leader overnight. It took TSMC Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company over 35 years of sustained investment, government support, and talent development to reach where it is today. South Korea's Samsung and SK Hynix didn't emerge from nothing. They were built through decades of strategic government-industry partnership. India is starting this journey later than most. The talent pipeline needs significant development. Supply chain infrastructure needs building. The institutional knowledge gap is real. Additionally, geopolitical headwinds exist. Taiwan, the current global leader, is under constant pressure from China. Many global companies are actively looking to diversify their chip manufacturing away from Taiwan. India is positioning itself to capture that diversification, but so is Vietnam, so is Mexico. So is the United States with its own CHIPS Act investing $52 billion domestically. The competition for semiconductor investment is fierce. India's advantage needs to be sharper than just offering incentives. So what does India genuinely have going for it? First, scale. India's domestic electronics market is growing faster than almost any other nation on Earth. Demand for chips inside India alone is projected to reach $80 billion by 2030. Having manufacturing close to that demand base is a real competitive advantage. Second, engineering talent. India produces over 1.5 million engineering graduates annually. The challenge isn't quantity, it's specialized semiconductor training. But that pipeline exists and can be redirected with the right academic and industry partnerships. Third, geopolitical positioning. India's relationship with the United States, Japan, the European Union, and other major democracies makes it a preferred partner for supply chain diversification. The Quad partnership specifically has semiconductor supply chain cooperation as a core pillar. Fourth, cost structure. Land, construction, and certain operational costs in India remain competitive compared to established semiconductor hubs. Fifth, and perhaps most importantly, political will. The Indian government has demonstrated consistent multi-year commitment to this sector. Incentives are structured, approvals are moving, and the signal to global investors has been clear and sustained. If India executes this correctly, and that's a genuine, if not a guarantee, the payoff is transformational. Reduced import dependency means less vulnerability to global supply chain shocks. Every chip manufactured in India is one fewer chip that needs to survive a shipping disruption, a geopolitical tension, or a foreign export restriction. Job creation and high skill, high-wage manufacturing, exactly the type of employment that builds a middle class and drives consumer spending across the broader economy, attracting downstream industries. Companies that use chips build near where chips are made. Semiconductor manufacturing anchors, entire electronics manufacturing ecosystems, strategic autonomy. Perhaps the most important benefit of all. A country that can make its own chips can make its own decisions without worrying about technology denial from foreign powers. The Foxconn HCL plant in Uttar Pradesh processes display driver chips. Those chips go into every screen made in India. That's not a small thing. That's the beginning of genuine technological self-sufficiency. What happened in Greater Noida recently is not just another factory inauguration. It's a data point in a much larger strategic story about whether India will spend the next 50 years buying the technology that runs the world or building it. The challenges are real. The competition is fierce. The timeline is long. Nobody should pretend this is easy or that success is guaranteed. But the direction is right. The investment is serious. Partners are credible. The urgency is absolutely justified. Semiconductors are the foundation of every industry that matters in the modern economy. Artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, defense systems, telecommunications, healthcare technology, all of it runs on chips. India is placing its bet. A 1.6 lakh crore rupee bet that it can be a maker, not just a consumer, of the technology that will define the next century. Whether that bet pays off depends on execution, consistency, and the ability to build not just factories, but an entire ecosystem around them. The foundation stone has been laid. Now comes the harder part. If you found this breakdown valuable, share it with someone who's interested in India's economic future. Drop a comment below. Do you think India can realistically become a global semiconductor hub within the next decade? I'd genuinely like to know what you think. See you in the next one.